and welcome to Camnet Television News. I'm Jeffrey Ziambo to present the news. Our top stories in the news tonight: former LAS president claims the dismissal of the DPP undermines the criminal justice system. The UPND urged to stay away from political violence. The PF implicated in the KABWATA land saga as bailiffs leave traders stranded. In international news, IBRAHIM TRAORE declared Burkina Faso president after coup. And in sports news, Real's RUDIGER fit to face Barcelona after 20 stitches.
In our quest to save nations and develop Africa, Savenda is investing in the agriculture sector so as to produce supply for both local and international markets, housing over 12,000 pullets that are nurtured and fed with our locally made stock feed that comes from our own locally grown maize and soya beans, all processed from our recently installed milling and mixing plant. Our over 95,000 layers have an output capacity of over 1,500 trays of fresh eggs per day that are carefully selected and packaged for all the leading stores and supermarkets nationwide. Our greenhouses are fitted with the latest irrigation system, and the seedlings are nurtured to ensure only healthy plants reach the fields. With our deliberate planting schedule, we are better placed to supply constantly without interruption, thus reliable. Savenda Farms is also changing lives of its dedicated workforce drawn from the local community and beyond. So the next time you think fresh and green, think Savenda Farms.
For immediate coverage of any breaking or latest news in Zambia and around the world on Camnet Television, call the numbers on your screen. Camnet Television, bringing to your screens fair news, impartial news, credible and reliable news all the time. Get the whole truth on Camnet World News. Camnet Television, not just another channel.
Hello again, another news in detail. Fortitude Art Gallery in Lusaka has launched the I Am Without a Face campaign on mental health to encourage mental wellness conversations in workspaces without fear of stigma. Speaking during the launch, visual artist and author Alice Mutambo says her recently launched art therapy coloring book can be used by both children and adults as a tool for mental wellness. The book can be used by corporates and learning institutions for team-building activities through its inspirational quotes and positive affirmations. Tito Kalama has more in this report.
Fortitude Art Gallery, with its partners 17 Restaurant, launched the I Am Without a Face campaign on mental wellness. It's under the theme Encouraging Mental Wellness Conversations in Workspace. Invited guests had turned up at 17 Restaurant to witness the occasion. Imagine using abstract art as a means to mental wellness, which has become a topical issue in this era. To top it all, Alice Muyambo created and launched an art therapy coloring book as a means to mental wellness. The self-taught visual artist and author uses art to advocate for mental health awareness. Its aim is to amplify awareness and promote conversations on mental wellness in workplaces without fear of discrimination.
Itself has positive affirmations and inspirational quotes embedded in the book. And the whole idea is, a lot of times we need to tell ourselves positive things. We need to say good things to ourselves. Sometimes I wake up and it's been maybe like a crazy period, and I wake up very stressed or feeling demoralized. So the first thing I'll do is I'll say to myself, it's gonna be amazing today. I'm going to have an amazing day. And I find that when I say those things to myself, my mood changes suddenly. I'll start focusing on what I can do in the moment rather than what I can't control.
17 Restaurant KABWATA says work is not all about salaries and has called upon employers to create safe spaces in the work environment.
We also believe that encouraging conversations on mental wellness in our workspaces should not be approached as a means to earn brownie points from stakeholders who interact with our organizations. Mental health consciousness is good business practice. It is an investment to promote conversations and practices that promote mental wellness for those who work tirelessly to ensure that we meet our corporate objectives.
Meanwhile, Renaissance and Arise Ruth Foundation have urged individuals to invest in themselves through mental wellness and care for the welfare of others.
Take time to add red and orange and yellow and blue and indigo and violet. Rest. Open yourself up to new ideas. Yearn for more. Be black, be beautiful, be bold. Invest in yourself, know your identity.
My responsibility to look out for those close to us, because we are the ones who knows them better, who understands them better. We are the ones who know how they behave and how all of a sudden they have changed. So let's take interest, even as we are looking at mental health.
A renowned young poet didn't mince his words in his lyrics.
It's that push by a lady, a soon-to-be mother who wants to see her baby. It's that endless practice so you can say you got this. Spending 5 hours perfecting a 5-minute performance is beautiful. It's excellent, it's elegant, it's grand. It's writing a bestseller by hand. It's making policymakers understand. It's beautiful.
Tito Kalama, Camnet News.
TU Sisters Foundation Executive Director Karen Nakawala says raising awareness on cervical, breast and prostate cancer prevention has a significant impact on decreasing the burden of the disease. Ms. Nakawala says cervical cancer is one of the diseases that could be avoided by encouraging people who are at risk to have regular screening. She spoke to Camnet TV News Saturday during a free cervical, breast and prostate cancer screening in Lusaka's BAILIFFS compound. More in this report.
In a global effort to raise awareness on both breast and cervical cancer, October has been designated as the Pink Month. Every October, the world comes together to commemorate the Breast Cancer Awareness Month, basically to create awareness regarding one of the common cancers in women and also look at its impact on individuals and societies. It is against this backdrop that the TU Sisters Foundation, in collaboration with the Medical Women Association of Zambia, have organized a free cervical, breast and prostate cancer screening running from the 14th to the 16th of October 2022 in Lusaka's BAILIFFS compound. TU Sisters Foundation, which is focused on fighting cervical cancer, giving hope to those affected and to survivors, and encouraging as many women to go for screening, emphasize through its executive director Karen Nakawala the continued need to raise more awareness. Ms. Nakawala, a cervical cancer survivor and a World Health Organization advocate, encourages men also to take up the opportunity and go for prostate cancer screening.
I think it's been it's not that it's been difficult to access. I think it's just lack of information. Exactly. And by that I mean that most men don't actually know how the screening is done. They think when you get to a screening site, it's straight away they do a physical examination, but it's not. It's actually just a prick on the thumb, like they're doing malaria test. So when you do that, and then that's where they're able to tell you, okay, it's okay, you're fine. If there's anything unusual, that's when you're referred to a facility for further tests. But otherwise, it's just a little drop of blood that they use. So I think most people have been scared because they don't know what it is.
Meanwhile, the Medical Women Association organization says the turnout of people who have gone for screening has been impressive.
So the response has been overwhelming. We actually didn't expect that we'd get these numbers. Yesterday we got 65, and yesterday was a weekday. We got 65 just for cervical cancer alone. And on the other side, we also have had enough men responding. They're actually queuing up. Since morning, they've been queuing up, and the response has really been overwhelming for cervical, for breast, and for prostatas. And we also have people that are curious to find out more information, not only on cervical, prostate, and breast cancer, but also just information pertaining to health and well-being.
Recently, the country's health minister, Silva Maseo, disclosed that over 8,000 cancer patients die every year in Zambia, with a high number of people dying due to different cancer, with breast and cervical cancer being the commonest. Miriam Kaimba, reporting for Camnet TV News.
Several traders operating from KABWATA Cash and Carry KCC car park in Lusaka have been evicted and their stores demolished by bailiffs after it was allegedly sold to a foreign national. Some affected traders have alleged that a former named Patriotic Front chairlady who had also been squatting in the car park through trading dubiously acquired a title deed and sold the car park. However, in an exclusive interview with Camnet TV, KABWATA Member of Parliament Andrew Tayengwa has called on the Anti-Corruption Commission (SEC) together with the Ministry of Lands to investigate how the car park ended up being acquired by the named PF chairlady.
I was calling you. I've instructed you to go to the police. I was calling you. Don't mind the situation. Today. I'm not ignorant. You are ignorant. You are ignorant. You are trying to make money out of one. Take away you are very ignorant. They are making a living here.
Wearing a suit is Chishala Walia, the councillor of KABWATA Ward 6, in an argument with the man said to have allegedly bought a portion of the car park and a lawyer. Most of the traders that had makeshift shops on the portion of the car park were left stranded and had to cut away their various merchandise. These were the scenes of yesterday when bailiffs stormed the area. That is the sound of a hammer bringing down the last remaining store this morning. The entire shop is being dismantled piece by piece as the owner looks on. This is the portion of the car park where several shops stood and had a thriving business until yesterday. The shops have been cleared away on this portion of the car park. KABWATA Cash and Carry is along a busy road in the heart of KABWATA Township, famously known as Dallas City. Most of the shops here are liquor stores and other shops dealing in all manner of goods and services. One of the traders whose shop was the last one to be demolished has lamented that he had started trading in the car park as far back as 2014. The area member of parliament had arrived earlier and had been welcomed by the affected traders. He recalls that the whole parcel of land had belonged to the National Housing Authority until it had sold portions of it.
Apparently, when this issue was reported to my office, I did actually engage the Chief Executive Director of National Housing Authority. I had a discussion and she was actually at pains to explain how a piece of land meant for a car park could actually be sold to a certain individual who is believed to have been actually a member of the former ruling party, the Patriotic Front. I'm told that she was just a chair lady. Then apparently, as she failed to explain how the land was given to that lady, she actually told me that the piece of land was actually given under due influence of some political sectors. She said that the late then President Michael Fiasata instructed her to give out that piece of land, which I think it was erroneously given out.
He has urged the Anti-Corruption Commission to take a keen interest in the matter and find out how a car park that is supposed to service customers ended up being on title.
I think there's more to it, and I would request also the Anti-Corruption Commission to come on site and check and investigate how this person actually acquired this piece of land, because this piece of land actually is a car park. Very soon you will hear now the owners or the landlords who actually bought the shops from National Housing, they will start also complaining about lack of car park space.
The area councillor says the era of terror and force should be in the past.
The same PF lady who sold this place to a Lebanese, I'm told, and the son, who happens to be the lawyer, have been pushing this thing as though we are still in the PF regime. You understand? Because what they have been doing is that they've been using force. There are Zambians who are trading here. They're making a living out.
Tito Kalama, Camnet News.
Former Law Association of Zambia President George Chisanga has warned that if the country will entrench a culture where every political party that forms government fires the Director of Public Prosecutions, DPP, the justice system will be compromised. President Hakainde Hichilema has removed Lillian Siyunyi from the office of the Director of Public Prosecution, appointed SEC Director General Gilbert Perry to take over from her. The Lukasha constituency lawmaker says the office of the DPP is not a political office and hence it must be handled with dignity, failure to which justice delivery will be questionable. Here's a report.
When the United Party for National Development, UPND, formed government, key among issues that were on the to-do list was the fight against corruption. And in a quest to combat graft, the UPND thought the Director of Public Prosecution, Lillian Siyunyi, was obstructing justice delivery, suspecting that she had allegiance to the former ruling party, the PF. The prosecution of various UPND members, including President Hakainde Hichilema, hence youths from the governing party, did not waste time to demand a removal.
Make sure that we demonstrate peacefully against her until she leaves office. We will camp at her office until she vacates that public office. We have lost confidence. We have no confidence in her. That is a sensitive office which must be occupied by a person, a citizen with high integrity, without entanglement.
Various issues emerged, and key among them was the issue involving former KCM liquidator, Melingolungu, who was allegedly granted immunity from prosecution. Then she was put before the Judicial Complaints Commission, and acting on its recommendations, the DPP was suspended, and on Friday 14th October 2022, she was eventually removed from her position and replaced by Anti-Corruption Commission Director General Gilbert Perry. But the former Law Association of Zambia President George Chisanga feels the process was not fair.
A scheme was hatched by the UPND to start it. And shortly thereafter, you saw what the exchanges were taking place between State House, and other officers, where there was even a story that they had meetings at State House, where the DPP met some senior officials of government officials to try and force her into leaving office. Subsequently, there was a reference of this matter to JCC, and the complainants were various from different institutions and from different positions of persuasion. But the short of the long is that what we have seen in the tribunal that has sat to hear the matter of a DPP is something that raises more questions than answers any questions. The DPP has lamented that she has not been given a fair trial.
Mr. Chisanga, who is also PF Lukasha Constituency Member of Parliament, the tendency of attaching the office of the DPP with a political party lifespan must be stopped, as it undermines the criminal justice system.
That a DPP is not a political appointee. A DPP is a constitutional office holder whose responsibility is to drive the criminal justice procedure in the country. That person must be given the right to enjoy the tenure that is secured for them in the Constitution. Yes, when you have to remove them, but in the most reasonable way and following credible evidence that is laid against them for any misconduct. And when you try and remove somebody from office, give them the opportunity to defend themselves in a tribunal that shows that there's objectivity, that shows that the tribunal itself, there's no compromise first in the tribunal itself or even in the evidence that will come before the tribunal. If we continue doing what we are doing right now, we will not have a criminal justice system in the country that responds to the aspirations of the people. In fact, we will not have the development of a criminal justice in the country.
Patrick Soko, Camnet News.
And in a related development, Zambians United for Sustainable Development ZUSD Presidential Assistant Tatila has advised the United Party for National Development Administration against politicizing the office of the Director of Public Prosecutions.
The appointment of Mr. Gilbert Perry to replace Lillian Siyunyi, probably I think it brings more questions as to why the head of state would want to put Mr. Gilbert Perry, who has a position at anti-corruption, and I think he's doing well so far there. What is important to note also is that Mr. Gilbert Perry is actually a very close associate to the president. We know that Mr. Gilbert Perry has worked with the president even in opposition, and therefore we want people to have trust in the system. We want people to ensure that they respect the DPP, and also not to actually think of political connections to this particular appointment. What we are seeing now is that the president is so limited with choices in terms of who to put as DPP. We know that Mr. Gilbert Perry will bring no good to actually the DPP, because he's just going there to go and fix the political opponent of the president. What we need in Zambia is the rule of law and not the rule of man. What has been the challenge in this country is that we are focusing on the rule of man and not the rule of law. The rule of man is about whom they want to be arrested. The rule of man is about who they want to fix. And we can only hope that Parliament will not be subjected to such a debate where they want to ratify the appointment of Mr. Gilbert Perry, who is actually very close to the president, because we want people to have confidence in the DPP. We want people to have confidence in the court.
Governance activist Josek Kunda has condemned the behavior depicted by some ruling United Party for National Development UPND cadres during the ongoing Mukushi, Mwense and Usangaze Council chairperson by-elections. In an interview, Mr. Kunda warned that if left unchecked, violence will become prominent, just as it was the case during the Patriotic Front's rule. More in this report.
Political violence is something that has been strongly condemned for quite some time. During previous administrations, Zambia witnessed different forms of political violence incidents. The run-up to the 2021 12 August general election was not spared from such. The current administration, after being ushered into office, distanced itself from such and made it very clear that it was not in support of any form of lawlessness. However, what was witnessed on Thursday in some selected part of the country, to mention Mukushi, Mwense, during the nominations of council chairperson by-elections, leaves many to question if Zambia will ever have a free from violence election.
Very sad reading, when we see what is happening right now in terms of the violence. It's so sad that so many years after independence, we keep on having violence during elections. The UPND was voted on the pretext of promising people that are going to stop this electoral violence. And that is why when people ask us if the UPND is violent or not, I always say that always wait until election times. It's during these by-elections, elections, that you see how violent a party is. Because that's the time now they become intolerant. That's the time they employ all these violent tactics to ensure that they win the elections by all means possible.
Cadres from the ruling United Party for National Development and opposition Patriotic Front clashed during the filing of nominations in the named respective districts. Various stakeholders have continued to condemn such act, stating that the country has a big role to bring sanity in Zambian politics because the Stop Violence statement has come from all political parties but to no fulfillment.
And we are going back to the same vomits, things that we used to condemn during the previous administration. But we are seeing now the reoccurrence of almost the same thing. And it is very worrying that just 1 year after the UPND assumed office, and we were assured by the Republican president that cadreism will be done away with, we are now seeing this same thing happening. And we are wondering what would happen now, 4 years from now, into 2026, as we go for the presidential and the parliamentary tripartite elections. We are likely to see worse scenarios than what we are seeing now. So we call upon all the political parties to come to table and ensure that they sort out themselves and ensure that they promote peace and cohabitation.
ECO has also been made to all political parties to come to the table and ensure they sort out themselves and promote peace and unity in the country. Miriam Kaiba, reporting for Camnet TV News.
The Southern African Center for the Constructive Resolution of Disputes, SACOD, has appealed to the United Party for National Development, UPND cadres to heed the President's call to avoid politics of political violence. In a statement, SACOD Executive Director Boniface Chembe regrets the reported acts of political violence by alleged ruling United Party for National Development, UPND cadres on the opposition Patriotic Front cadres during the filing of nominations in Lusangazi and Mukushi. On Thursday, stone-throwing cadres hounded opposition cadres who suffered casualties during the filing of nominations in Lusangazi and Mukushi. This is Camnet Television News. We take our first break. We'll be back with more news after the break.
From time immemorial, we have had different types of lighting options, from those that can burn down our investments in minutes to those that dig holes in our pockets due to constant replacement and huge consumption of our ZESCO units. Savenda Electric introduces the new and advanced electric bulb with cutting-edge technology of LED that has low power consumption, gives out bright white light, and lasts up to 25,000 hours. Savenda Electric manufactures all types of LED light like plastic LED fluorescent tubes, down lights, ceiling lights, outdoor fittings, and solar street lights made to customer specifications. Let's live on the bright side of life by choosing the wide range of Savenda electric lighting solutions that are available in all leading stores and supermarkets countrywide. For orders, call 0962-642-490 or email jnbunda@savenda.com or pchabula@savenda.com.
Your skin is the biggest muscle in your body. That's why we make sure that Oracle is #1 when it comes to taking care of your precious skin. Oracle Pure Petroleum Jelly and Glycerin soothes, moisturizes and keeps your skin perfect. Oracle Pure Petroleum products for that perfect skin.
Water is life. Each drop counts and each must be cherished. Our tried and tested product meets all international standards. With our smart drip technology, we aim to deliver precision irrigation designed to reduce blockage and wastage, ensuring a high yield. RenGlow, your smart irrigation partner.
Welcome back. We'll continue with the news. Local Government and Rural Development Minister Garin Kombo says the New Dawn government remains accommodating to other religions to practice and grow their faith in Zambia. Mr. Kombo also encouraged the BAPS community in Zambia to continue encouraging people to join their faith if they were to have more devoted persons to their beliefs. The minister made the remarks at the Pramukh Swami Maharaj Continual Celebrations in Lusaka Friday for the Hindus that will run until the 18th of October. And Indian High Commission Charge d'Affaires Murugasan Ramaswamy says India is happy that the Zambian government embraced all races, cultures, traditions and religions. Mr. Ramaswamy explained that the festival was meant to remind people of how good Pramukh Swami Maharaj was to mankind and how he lived a life without sin which all should endeavor to live. He encouraged communities to emulate and be inspired by the life of Pramukh Swami Maharaj if they were to live a life that will recognize and uplift the lives of others in any given society.
Apologist, a kind leader who you cannot ignore. And so we wish that the religion continues to grow from strength to strength, because the values that it inculcates into our society are those values that we need. I learned today about how it is to be medicated. I've learned about what sounds like yoga as a way of treats all ailments. I've learned about his life journey how he traveled by train, how he was writing. That was extremely remarkable. The piles and piles of pages, the rate at which he wrote simply leaves him in his own place. I've learned.
BAPS continues to provide avenues for millions of people to experience the splendor of Indian culture. BAPS mandirs are a center for spiritual growth and a place of worship. It's a place which millions of devotees call a home away from home. And we are lucky to have one in Zambia. I take this opportunity to inform that tomorrow we would be doing a curtain raiser event of Pravasi Bharati Divas 2023, scheduled to be held at Indore in January, from January 8 to 10, 2020.
United Party for National Development, Iteji Member of Parliament Twambo Mutinta, says there is a lack of clarity in training about how culture is to be included when evaluating risks to children. In an interview, Mr. Mutinta notes the need to discuss how much cultural material is necessary or relevant when it comes to good parenting across cultures, bearing in mind children's rights. Mr. Mutinta says apart from providing daily meals for the family, parents have a duty to ensure that their offspring have the much required parental love. He adds that as long as most parents, when it comes to issues of children's rights, continue to duck their responsibility over their children, it will remain a problem.
Meanwhile, government has approved such kind of school teachings that we feel that they are within the framework of our culture, they are within the framework of the scientific model, they are within the framework of our values as a country. So really, we've seen a lot of cases of a child deviant. We've seen a lot of cases of parents not being responsible to their families. We've heard the stories of children dumping their girls dumping their newborn children. We've also seen a lot of divorce cases. What this means is that we need to invest in programming that is going to bring responsibilities in the families. We need to invest in programming that will help parents to understand that the role of upbringing is theirs. It should not be shifted to anyone. They need to spend time to talk to their children. They need to spend time to talk to their family members, build their career path, family members' career path, build the career path of their children, guard the morals of their children internally in their homes without shifting the blame somewhere. And these are some of the clarion calls we have to the people out there, that let the family cohesion be brought back. That is what is causing all this tension in the country. And we are seeing a lot of family disorganization. We are seeing a lot of child misbehavior. Is as a result of not having that kind of lost glory.
Zambia joins the rest of the world in commemorating Global Hand Washing Day under the theme Unite for Universal Hand Hygiene. Global Hand Washing Day is observed on October 15th internationally to inculcate hygienic and clean practices, as well as raise awareness and understanding about the importance of washing hands with clean water and soap for disease prevention. Further, it seeks to provide a platform for combined and sustained action at a global, regional and national level. The National Water Supply and Sanitation Council NWASCO Public Relations and Communications Manager Mpunga Sumukwai says the theme Unite for Universal Hand Hygiene calls for closer collaboration among all stakeholders. She explains that there is a need to scale up efforts and strategies for increased access to clean and safe drinking water and adequate sanitation as enshrined in Sustainable Development Goal number 6. Ms. Sumukwai adds that the past few years of the COVID-19 pandemic have reminded people that hand washing with clean water and soap is a key defense mechanism against the spread of germs and diseases. Residents of Makwati, one of the unplanned settlements in Kawe, have complained about limited access to clean and safe drinking water. Some of the affected residents told Camnet TV in Kawe that for the past 20 years they have been drinking water from the wells. This came to light when KABWATA Central Member of Parliament, Mrs. Chrysosta Perry, received a borehole worth 20,000 kwacha donated by United Party for National Development UPND cooperating partners. More in this report.
Residents of Makwati in Kabwe district have for some time now been drinking and using this contaminated water from wells for their household chores. Cases of diarrhea have been so rampant in this area, especially in the rain season when wells get flooded with rainy water.
Isangwa tindafika menshi mu Oktoba yarambo okukama so like ino ne season yambire mu gas na ambo okukama so ile sangwa ati ndatwata pa menshi fidana datubikire mu korodini shukuru ala so diarrhea apa so abantu balero ala diarrhea sana.
Residents have lamented how in the past the local leadership paid a deaf ear to their calls to have safe and clean drinking water. UPND partners have donated this borehole in order to reduce rampant cases of diarrhea and other related waterborne diseases.
From our assessment is most of people here, they have a problem with diarrhea cases because of drinking water from shallow wells and unclean water. So we say thank you so much to our friends of the party who have contributed towards this drilling of the borehole. It has gone 55 meters down, and also we are going to put a hand pump. So we want to say this is highly commendable because they are cushioning the government efforts. We are yet to bring more even the boreholes in this community because the community is very big. I think 3 more boreholes. We need 3 more boreholes to make sure that at least every household is able to access clean water. Our women are suffering a lot. They even go as far as mobile sometimes just to access clean water.
Petronella Msangulure, Camnet News in Kabwe, Central Province.
We'll take our second and final break. We'll be back with international and sports news.
You know I can take her a bit.
Yes, my dear.
I was thinking of getting you a Bugatti on your birthday.
Really?
I'm quiet. My name is Yana.
Don't worry, man. That's why there is insurance.
Insurance?
You heard me.
Not just any kind of insurance, but Savenda General Insurance, a company that offers superior customer service, highly professional and dedicated staff. We are not just any insurance company, but an insurance company that actually pays our claims. We cover, among others, fire, marine, aviation, engineering, agriculture, motor vehicle, and miscellaneous insurance. So, live life to the full, knowing that Savenda General Insurance has got you covered. Savenda General Insurance. Insurance excellence.
Prime plots filled with beautiful views are now available for sale in Palavana. They will have tarred roads, electricity, water, golf course, 24-hour security, and more. They are on title and you can view them. With a standard 20% initial deposit, you will already be on your way to owning land Kumayad. We have 40 by 25 meters going for 240,000 and our 50 by 42 going for 300,000. Both have flexible payment plans. They are located 28 kilometers from Crossroads Mall and 16 kilometers from New Kasama's Boom Gate along Leopards Hill Road. For viewings, purchases and inquiries, call the numbers on the screen.
Welcome back. And now in international news, Burkina Faso has appointed a new president 2 weeks after its second coup in less than 9 months. IBRAHIM TRAORE's supporters hope he will bring stability to a country where violence has killed thousands of people and displaced millions more. For more in international news, we'll take a look at this roundup.
2 weeks after young officers ousted Burkina Faso's transitional president in the country's second coup in less than 9 months, Captain IBRAHIM TRAORE was sworn in as president. At a National Assembly on Friday, military, religious, and community leaders gathered to formalize Traore's appointment.
We need a committed patriot who is ready to fight for the restoration of the national territory.
At the end of September, 34-year-old Traore seized power, promising to secure the nation more effectively than his ousted predecessor, Lieutenant Colonel Paul Henry Sandaogo Damiba, who himself overthrew the country's democratically elected president in January. People are celebrating the appointment of Traore as president. They say because he's fought on the ground and seen the suffering of his people that he'll be able to change the situation. But many here have little patience and say that if they don't see results quickly, he's going to be ousted just like his predecessor. Violence by armed groups has racked the country for years, killing thousands and displacing some 2 million people. Some locals who have fought alongside the military say they are frustrated by the lack of assistance and want the new government to give them more weapons.
We fight with our bulletproof jackets and it's hard. Sometimes we spend 7 days in the bush. We don't have enough ammunition. We have 2 magazines each. When there's a long attack, we run out of ammunition.
Many locals and military are pushing Traore to work more closely with Russia instead of the country's former colonizer France, which has been fighting armed groups in the region since 2013. Outside the meeting for the National Assembly, many were seen waving Russian flags and denouncing France.
Our message is that if we want a good collaboration, it shall be with Russia. France has been here for about 70 years. They are here, they have barracks here. We've never heard that a French soldier died. It's our soldiers who die.
But for many, it doesn't matter who Burkina Faso's new leaders work with, as long as they restore peace to their war-weakened country.
Mourners in Tunisia clashed with security forces on Friday after a man died from injuries sustained during a police chase several weeks ago. Demonstrators threw stones at security forces after the funeral of Malik Salimi in the working-class neighborhood of Upper Omran on the edges of Tunis. The 24-year-old had fallen into a ditch and suffered a neck injury while he was being chased by police in late August. He was taken to hospital and remained in intensive care for 7 weeks before he died. Relatives have called for an inquiry to ensure justice for Salimi's death. Since the 2011 revolution, which led to the downfall of former President Zain El Abidine Ben Ali, security forces in the country are often accused of using excessive force. The Tunisian Human Rights League says 14 men have been killed in recent years in incidents involving the police and claim officials rarely face justice. And human rights campaigners say since President Kais Saied took over in a power grab last July, the authorities have increasingly used heavy-handed measures similar to those used by ousted former leader Ben Ali.
Let's now have some sports news. And in sports news, in the Super League, Week 8 round of fixtures kicked off with a Lusaka derby with Green Buffaloes playing host to Nkwazi Football Club in a lunchtime kickoff at Sunset Stadium, where it rained goals as the match ended 3-0 draw. Zanaco Football Club are back to winning ways after beating newly promoted Lumwana Radiants 1-0 at Sunset Stadium. Zanaco scored through Boyd Musonda in the 55th minute and managed to hold on for all the 3 points. Champions Red Arrows Football Club visited Chambeshi, and it was a game which was full of drama as the two teams scored 7 goals, with the champions emerging winners after 90 minutes beating Chambeshi 4-3. Nkana Football Club and Forest Rangers played out to a 1-0 draw in Kitwe, and elsewhere Nchanga Rangers and Prison Leopards played out to a 1-0 draw, while Kansanshi Dynamos and Napsa Stars ended on a 0-0 draw. And in the Football Association of Zambia First Division 4 League Week 5 fixture, the match between Camnet Stars and Matero United ended with a 2-0 draw. Camnet Stars were home at the Kabalonga Boys Secondary School grounds.
I'm happy, though we have drawn 2-2. The game was fair, it was 50-50 game. Despite we've made some silly mistakes, I hope next time we'll work on the mistakes that we made.
Okay, next side twanga ball is mushe opponents na be balance commitment yao but in hard so na ifunga chibu tuikire koche next game nice we can do better tumenenza di opponents aba one bezina mpamvu bona bachira bigosha bemenze yavu but no mushe funga tuikire koche once.
Yes, another draw. We started well, but after 20 minutes we were disorganized. But second half we came in, but so far so good. I'm sure the next game will improve. We'll go back to the drawing board and see where we're making mistakes.
But which areas do you think, Coach, today?
I think front line we were dead. The whole front line we were dead. Until after we substituted some players, that's when we came up.
Game so ya chamba. Foto wachipangira fa bene na ba coach strip camp. Bashirandati kubikira kufya mano. Pushing if you border contange for Bachiranda, but Bakochi put to chamba down, to chingisha bate that Bash to chamba down because of Capreta Kashimonika San. So Bakoch para Shindipa bench, Shindim of Bakoch Ashiranda fast one to Bora Yasi. So Panachina Chingira para Nachonga Fama instruction for Bachinjava Bakochi. You could draw to a draw 2-2.
And I think we just like a bit of effort because our coach always told us that you have got pace and you are still young. You can do it, but some of us we didn't do well. But we hope that in the next coming game we put up our socks and we will put much effort so that we can.
Drivers of Change, a non-governmental organization, Executive Director Lazarus Mwale has expressed sadness on the failing standards of soccer in most schools in the country. Mr. Mwale says that football in most schools in the country has lagged behind, thus calling on cooperating partners to come on board to revive the dwindling standards of football at grassroots level. He made the remarks after donating sports items worth 20,000 kwacha to Makululu Day Secondary School in Kabwe.
In a bid to improve soccer at grassroots level, Kabwe-based charitable organization Drivers of Change has donated football kits worth 20,000 kwacha to Makululu Day Secondary School.
So this is the equipment. It's small, as you can see, but I think reviving sports in school is a key thing for now.
Over the donation to the school authority, Drivers of Change Executive Director Lazarus Mwale says the organization is inspired to move in and donate this sports attire to the school in order to resuscitate the falling standards of soccer in most schools in Kabwe.
You know, sports here, initially football in Zambia, like way back, there was so much efforts made in schools. So these players we are seeing today, the icons were coming from schools.
Receiving the donation, school head teacher Mr. Evalisto Mwembe has welcomed the gesture, adding that it will go a long way in improving sports activities at the school.
There is no small gift. What matters is the spirit in the gift. So this, we can assure you, it will go a long way. And we can just pray for your good health and also for the success of your organization. I'm told you are a home-grown NGO, or locally based, KABWATA. So we appreciate what you are doing for institutions like ours, partnering with us. And also this gesture, I can assure you that it will go a long way. If anything, it will cut our budget.
Petronella Msangulule, Camnet Sports, in Kabwe, Central Province.
And now in international sports, Real Madrid defender Antonio Rudiger has been cleared to play in El Clasico against Barcelona on Sunday, but keeper Thibaut Courtois will miss out. Rudiger needed 20 stitches in his forehead after colliding with Shakhtar Donetsk keeper Anatoly Trubin while scoring in the 1-0 Champions League draw on Tuesday. The German, who signed from Chelsea in June, will wear a protective face mask. Belgium international Courtois will not be available for selection because of a lack of match practice following the back injury that has kept him out of Real's past 4 matches. Real and Barcelona are level on points at the top of La Liga, although Barca are on the brink of being knocked out of the Champions League in the group stage for the second successive season, having won only 1 of their 4 matches in the competition. To end Camnet Television News, the headlines once again. Former Law Association of Zambia president claims the dismissal of the DPP undermines the criminal justice system. The UPND urged to stay away from political violence. The PF implicated in the KABWATA land saga as bailiffs leave traders stranded. In international news, IBRAHIM TRAORE declared Burkina Faso president after coup. And in sports news, Real's Rudiger fit to face Barcelona after 20 stitches. Our Camnet verse of the day is coming from the book of John 1, verse 5. The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it. Thank you once again for watching Camnet Television News. I'm Jeffrey Ziambo. Bye-bye.